Hello, everyone, and welcome on Tribe of Transformers. So, once again, with Sadhana Agarwal, who's our psychologist. Last time, we have had discussions with her on understanding and managing stress and anxiety. Today's topic is on mindset, mental health, and peak performance. We've been seeing a lot of disruption happening in this area in the corporate world. And we've had 31 days on the Tribe of Transformers covering various aspects of mindset. So today we'll focus more on the professional aspects, on the organizational aspects of mindset, of mental health, and peak performance. So Sonam, welcome once again on the Tribe of Transformers.
Thank you, Pooja. It's a pleasure to be here.
So we have a series of questions for you today.
All right, sure.
The first one is we want to understand how does one's mindset directly influences our mental health.
So you said you've been running this mindset in different contexts, and you want to specifically understand it in the corporate setup, right?
Absolutely.
So I think mindset, if we have to look at it, it's a collection of these thought patterns and beliefs that really shape one's reality. So it is also the stories that we tell ourselves about our own identity and also the world around us. So just put it very simply, we can classify mindsets two in two ways. We can classify it. One is like a healthy mindset, and another is an unhealthy mindset. So just as the name suggests, a healthy mindset is one where that is more flexible in nature. It also allows one to see the world as it is, rather than the way we wish it would be. And it also allows our ability to bounce back from challenges and setbacks with more resilience. Similarly, unhealthy mindsets, if we look at, it's just more rigid in nature. So it limits one individual from seeing possibilities and opportunities in life. It also makes them more susceptible to one's own circumstances. Like, just to give you a very quick example, like now living in Delhi, you must be knowing the pollution is a major concern that has been recurring, and everybody has been having these flu symptoms for a fairly long time. I was also kind of fairly unwell. So I was sitting in one of these co-working spaces where I overheard two colleagues talking. So one of them was really saying that, I've been under these symptoms for a very long time. I've been taking medicines. And he was really sounding very upset because, how it is impairing his ability to kind of work better and, everything. So, though he was taking all the medication, but still he was sounding very upset. On the other hand, the other colleague was, saying that, it has affected me so much that my ears have been blocked. So one day one ear works and the other day it is open, the other gets blocked. So what he said was very beautiful. He said that, it's really good that the ear is blocked because it's a blessing to hear less things in a day.
Wow.
So it's just how you want to see mindset. Maybe, for one person it can be empowering, for the other person it can be really disempowering. So this is how, it really affects us.
Yeah, that's what we always say, a resourceful mindset, a resourceful state, or an unresourceful state. Absolutely, the example matches with that. So, what I derive from this is how could a shift in mindset improve our overall well being?
So, like I said, that, it's very much dependent on the stories that we tell ourselves. So a lot of stress comes from the stories we tell ourselves. Like somebody cracking a job interview or somebody not able to crack a job interview might say to themselves that, I'm not good enough. Whereas somebody else might say that, maybe it is just a bad day. Maybe I was destined for something else. Similarly, it can go for, cracking all these competitive exams also. Like a lot of children put it on themselves that, it's my fault, that there's something wrong with me. Whereas other people kind of think it very differently. So a lot of times it's these stories that we're telling ourselves that really cause the stress. So I think in that way we have to, like if you said that, how we can improve the overall well-being, it is really important that we focus on the self-talk. It is important that we focus on, changing the self-talk. So like we said that everything starts with thoughts. So if we notice that, we're kind of, the thought of, I cannot do this, I cannot do this is recurring again and again. So naturally, those thoughts will create that kind of reality for us. And we will not be able to, achieve the goals we desire or the success that we want. So I feel just switching the language from, I cannot to maybe I will try to do it differently, or I can, give it a shot. It just moves us to a more, a more powerful mindset. Like you must have seen that, a lot of parents are focusing on affirmations a lot with their kids. Yeah. Like they kind of make it a habit and a routine, like a night routine that, say to yourself that I'm brave, I'm strong. So by doing this repeatedly, they are kind of reprogramming the brain to achieve goals and, to achieve that kind of a success mindset. The other thing that is really can be really useful, I think, is to focus on the company that or the set of people that you're hanging out with. There is a very nice quote which says that, you're the average of 5 people you spend most time with. Yeah. So, sometimes rather than, hanging out with a set of circle where you feel that you will be more drained or exhausted, it is better to read a book. Just like that. And also change, just like the internal dialogue, a lot of emphasis can be focused on the external dialogue also. Like some practice can be done to change the external dialogue, wherein, like some kind of empowering language can be used. If you're hanging out with a certain set of people, so I know somebody, whenever you ask them how you're doing, they say excellent. How is things going? Excellent. So just the word excellent, it just gives you that kind of aura, that energy that, you feel recharged.
So we change our self-talk. I think that's the most powerful thing to do. And keep reminding ourselves, I mean, that shift in the language that you mentioned, like we have had one of our sessions on fear of failure, wherein we said that it's not failure. It's just telling you that find another way to do it. This way is not working.
Absolutely.
It's simple. It's not failure means it's the end of the world there for you. So just failure is giving you a message, find another way. And just like you said, change that language and make it so much powerful for you that it impacts your aura. Sonam, let us try to shift or add a bit of the professional life thing here. That what role will this mental health play in an individual's ability to achieve their peak performance, now whether it be in their personal lives or in their professional lives? I want you to add this flavor of peak performance here with mindset and mental
health. So I genuinely feel that mental health plays a very crucial role when it comes to peak performance, because mental health really covers everything from emotional, social and psychological well-being of an individual. So you would believe when I say that the way we think, feel and act, feel really impacts the way we behave. So a lot of times when we're talking about mental health interventions, we always think that immediate behavior change to aana hi chahiye. So, but it takes a little bit of time and effort. So to ensure for a lasting effect of for a person's mental well-being, what can really be done is to emphasize embodiment of mindset in the everyday life. Like I always tell people that, when we see other people being positive, it's not that they're born with it. They kind of make this choice every day, or they practice it every day to kind of make it a part of their life, or probably look at the brighter side of life. It's not that they do not have those set of problems. So what you said that at a personal level and at a professional level, how it can really play a role. We all know that good mental health can be a catalyst for productivity, creativity, everything. Whereas a poor mental health can automatically impair your cognitive function. It can decrease productivity. So I think the few markers that I always feel contribute to both the personal and professional life of an individual is, number one is the routine, which is very important, which we saw during COVID time also, and the post-COVID time also, and the work from home scenarios also. So if following the routine every day really gives you a sense of predictability and comfort. so that you can succeed in life. Second is sleep. Sleep is very, very important. So 7 to 8 hours of sleep is what is really advisable. So instilling a sense of relaxation and self-care is very important in the routine, also in sleep. So taking care of these little things can really improve one's mental well-being in both the settings, whether it's their personal or their professional. Then nutrition is very important. A lot of times, because people are working in very competitive environments or very high stressful situations, so they skip meals or they forget to have a meal. So it is important to be mindful about not doing that or not making it a habit. So taking all your meals on time, or if you're not got a meal, so try to take some out from office, shut the work, go out, have a meal, come back, because we do not really acknowledge or appreciate that how these impact, but they impact in a very big way. And then exercise, which we all know has its own set of benefits. Just having probably a designated day specifically where the organization is emphasizing more on play or some kind of outdoor activities, which can help employees to immediately de-stress themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Just maybe that.
So I think here the major role is start with your own self. Self-care, self-enrichment is what will play an important role.
Yeah.
Okay, before we jump on our next two questions, which are core to organizations, which are core to the corporate world, to the new startup world, which is facing a lot of dilemmas these days, I would just like to remind the audience, we have had, like I said, 31 days of lot of resources for you on mental health, on mindset. There are quotes, there are blogs, there are podcasts there for you, and there are a lot of short videos. There is one big meditation on mindset, and we've had a book learning on the Go for No. So go for it. And now we jump on to our next question, which is how could organizations foster a culture now that promotes mental well-being while, of course, driving their productivity and success? Corporations will not, rather no one would like to compromise on productivity and success. But it has to come along with a culture that is promoting this kind of mental health and a growth mindset, a positive mindset, like you said, for their peak performance.
Pooja, it's a very complex question, but it's also a very relevant question. So I would try to break it down so that it's easier for the audience also to understand. I think we really need to build a lot of, I would say that the narratives in organizations are also changing. Like, there have been a lot of cases of suicide or, a lot of mental health conditions coming up in social media, also in different kind of cinema is also now saying that, come talk about it. So I feel some kind of sensitivity to start with will help. Like, just to understand that we have to respect, how we respond to a situation versus how the other person responds is very different. Look, for example, what is small for me could be very big for you.
Yes.
And vice versa. So just kind of having this kind of that we all have different kind of sensitivities. So that will really help us to foster a supportive work culture. So when I say a supportive work culture, that will come when we encourage training of the managers. Like, we provide some kind of training to managers so that they can recognize, support and manage their employees with all the mental health conditions that they face. So, it is just a simple awareness about, what are the early signs of burnout or what are the early signs of anxiety or stress. Can, prepare them early on before things get worse. So some kind of accountability everybody has, like, in performance reviews, we just say that, probably this aspect is not working. Maybe, we just leave it to that and we let it rest on the employee that, they will make that change.
Yeah.
So, ensuring that you're also understanding what could be the root cause behind this, recurring feedback that the employee is getting. Second, I think mental health policies should come in place because it really provides a framework for everybody how how to seek treatment, when to kind of raise an alarm, so that it's easier for everybody to understand that this matters too.
Yeah.
Because right now it is just the physical health, it's just the physical tests that are run for the family, for the employee. Mental health is not so much, so that will also reduce the stigma attached to it. That will, so some kind of conversation has to begin. And what organizations can also do, Pooja, is there's something called performance mindset training. If
Okay.
I've got the term correct, yeah. So it is a very crucial element for employee development. So what it really does is that it transforms the attitudes, beliefs, and habits of an individual, which directly impact or create a shift in their behavior. So this kind of mindset training is really focused on inculcating the growth, resilience, and success kind of mindset in individuals. So companies can really equip employees with these kind of skills and activities or exercises so that the employees are always ready to adapt to different kind of challenging situations.
Okay.
So that, and I think maybe employees can also be provided some kind of accessibility to mental health resources. As today also everybody, most of us, we do not know who to contact. Should we go to a psychiatrist or should we go to a psychologist? So this kind of differentiation is also not very clear for a lot of people. So maybe just like so everybody knows that if there is some problem, I have to go to the HR person to address it. So employees should know where to go internally also when they face some kind of issue. So that kind of resource bulletin could be there, or it could be online, where employees are having access to different kind of mental health websites or initiatives or links which can probably help them to ensure that it's a safe space and it
Or
will help.
externally come to Tribe of Transformers, where we already have these resources ready for them.
Yeah, of course. Come on, just this is also a very initiative that it kind of combined with Tribe of Transformers, because mental health needs that kind of a voice.
It needs, and people generally are not that open to talk about it. Everybody feels, अरे मुझे पागल तो नहीं समझा जाएगा, oh मुझे weak तो नहीं समझा जाएगा. These are not signs of that kind of a weakness where you have to be ashamed of. I think it's simply coming and discussing, asking for help, which is absolutely fine. That's what we've been doing our entire life. It's just when we shift into a corporate world, we find it shameful. Otherwise, amongst our friends, amongst our families, we are always happy to come, talk, discuss, come out of it, help the other person come out of it. So, like you said, the managers or the seniors should have that basic awareness, that understanding that people have different ways.
Yeah.
What is small for you could be big for me. So, it's just a matter of acknowledging it.
Yeah, also sensitivity takes its own time, but I do believe that it has the narrative has started building up. Things are changing. A lot of people do understand that yes, this is important. So yeah, slowly and steadily things are changing. So let's focus on hope.
Yeah, that's always said. Right, Sonam. So we would like to understand some practical tips from you that these organizations could adopt for the mental health and peak performance issues that they are facing with their teams.
So the tips that I can think of is maybe some kind of mindfulness breaks could help. Like maybe in a way, what I mean is that just like there are standard lunch breaks that employees have, so there could be a mindful choice of ensuring that employees are practicing having short breaks of mindfulness throughout the day. Mm-hmm. So in this time they can practice some kind of guided meditation or some kind of breathing exercises or relaxation exercises. So this also encourages a different kind of supportive culture in the organization. So that's one. I do not know if all organizations do it, but some kind of paid leaves on their birthdays could help, which will automatically encourage them to spend more time with their friends and family back home. That is another. What else can they do?
This sounds like an incentive.
Yeah, this sounds like an incentive, yes. Maybe also host some kind of wellness programs um, on a monthly basis, like a yoga day or something, which is really allowing them that space to, mentally relax.
One full day assigned in that entire month.
Yeah, some kind of, or you could host it once in a quarter, something which is, at least starting this conversation, you're making people aware that, this aspect of life is also important. The reason, so whatever we focus on more, so organization focus mostly on the physical health. So everybody wants to ensure that physical health is fine, we're doing regular checkups. But if we start focusing or, ensuring that, that is also an important aspect of your life. Like, this is what I say on a regular basis. So with physical health, it's only the physical part of the body which needs healing. But when it comes to mental health, it, impacts every aspect of your life. So anybody who is having facing any challenges with their mental health, so it automatically, impairs their interpersonal relationships. So working in teams would be difficult. So it's slowly, layer by layer, it is kind of causing issues. We do not know it yet, but it's just time that we explore all these things are important. I think some kind of wellness giveaways could also help. So, rather than rewarding employees with, I don't know, maybe having these kind of rewards where you're giving a subscription of a meditation app, or probably going for a relaxing spa, or probably making time for yourself to kind of recharge or refresh yourself. That kind of will really help.
These gifts sound very, very lucrative, attractive.
I hope the organization takes it up. These are just just personal thoughts. Rest, I think there should be a bulletin which highlights some kind of tips from experts on if you're kind of facing this kind of issue, so what all you can do. That could also be very encouraging for employees to take necessary action. So.
Correct. We hope organizations are listening to this, and these tips would be really, really helpful. I've been talking to a lot of corporates last few months, understanding their requirements. They've been telling us how they are identifying the key issues through the performance reviews that they have been doing. We met a few startups who mentioned their dilemmas, wherein the founder is worried about business chalega ki nahi, where the startup employees are worried about, अरे मैंने स्टार्टअप को ज्वाइन कर लिया है, मेरा करियर तो नहीं खराब हो जाएगा. So thank you so much, Sonam, for these tips. We also again want to re-emphasize here that we have a set of modules for organizations for their trainings. We'll be putting up our deck also on our social media channels so that companies can look on it. And Sonam, we would like to have you along with us in those trainings, because you as a psychologist would play a very big role in topics like mental health. So thank you so much for joining us today, and we hope
to
come with another series with you next month.
Absolutely. Thank you, Pooja.
Thank you so much. Thank you.